Coming up on the Shelia Smoot Show. So you're trying to find the right school for your child. You have public, you have private, you have charter schools, you have homeschools, and you also have religious schools. What's right for your child? There is one school that says they got the right stuff and they're the right choice. I'm Shelia Smoot. The Shelia Smoot Show starts right now. Welcome into the Shelia Smoot Show. I am Shelia Smoot. Good to have you along on this wonderful, wonderful day. You know, all my days are wonderful. Every one of them should be wonderful to you as well. I don't know why people have a bad day. I don't have a bad day. Let me go to my phone lines. You know, we're just going to get right to it. Let me go to my phone lines and click in and see who this is. Phillip Turner, how you doing this morning?
Pretty good. How are you? You having a great day?
I'm having a great day. In fact, you know what? You are just in time. We were just talking about great days and how, you know, I am a very high energy person. And you know that all too well. You know that all too well. I'm a high energy person, and I believe that every day is a great day. And, you know, you just say, hey, I hope you're having a great day. And you know what? I actually am having a great day. I am having a great day.
Awesome.
And I want to thank you early because you're always available to our audience and in various capacities, and we don't want to go into it. I'm going to make people figure out who you really are, right? Phillip Turner, a little bit, right? Phillip Turner joining me from several varieties. We're going to talk this morning, folks, about schools, the difference between schools. Phillip Turner is the one of the overseers, if you would, and running the Northside Christian School. Am I saying that right, Phillip?
Right, the Northside Christian Academy.
Northside Christian Academy, which was school when I sent my daughter there, and when my daughter's dad and his entire family in Hooper City in Birmingham, Alabama, went there under Mrs. Crum. And I never called her by her first name. I always called her Mrs. Crum. And she ran that school in Hooper City, Phillip. And you are continuing to carry the torch. Talk to me about the history of that school. That school has produced some incredible graduates, and why Northside Christian Academy is still the type of school you might want to send your kid to.
Yes, Northside Christian Academy is now in its 49th year.
Wow.
And as you mentioned, Miss Susie Crum started the school way back when. At first, it was just a kindergarten. I believe it started at Mount Olive Baptist in Hooper City.
Right.
Then in the late 90s and early 2000s, it moved back to Northside Church of God, presently known now as New Star Covenant of Grace, where Dale Dawkins is the pastor. And now, you know, schools, you have to constantly change. Methods change, but, you know, principles remain the same.
Right.
But now the school has moved to First Baptist at Zipco, and that pastor is Pastor Morrell Todd, who's very high on education. He actually had a school there located before called the City Program, but we need that back, where kids got expelled from school and had an alternative to go to another school and find a trade. And I'm not trying to go off task, but I'll just let the audience know.
Right.
Kids nowadays, if you get expelled from the city schools, you can't go to the county school, and vice versa. You get expelled from county schools, you can't go to city school.
Really?
All you can do is go to a private school. So people wonder why there's such a spike in crime. Because the kids at home doing nothing.
Because they're at home. They can't get back in. So I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that once you get kicked out of a city school or county school per se, certain city schools I would say, you cannot go anywhere else. They're basically not going to let you in, at least in the Birmingham and Jefferson County schools in the state of Alabama, is what you're saying. So they end up going to other types of schools.
Right. If you get kicked out of the alternative system, now both Birmingham City and Jefferson County, they have alternative schools where Jefferson County is located at Tarrant, and Birmingham City Schools, I think it's called Dupree. But if you get what they call a Class 3, which is an expulsion, you cannot go to either school. And we found, just another part, one of my hats, working at family court, a high spike in crime among young men at age 12 to 15, especially who are not in school because they have nothing to do. They get with the wrong people, wrong crowd, and you get with the wrong crowd. Started joining gangs. I know this wasn't supposed to be our topic, but I guess it's going that way.
That's good. That's fun. I like it.
they're nowhere for the kids to go, and I'd like to give a shout out to Probation Officer Rodney Reese and Probation Officer Nick Bowler, who is on the ground trying to solve this problem. We're constantly trying to find spots for the kids to go. Now, a couple of the kids have gone to Northside Christian, who are younger, and we've been able to turn their lives around. They've been able to go on to college, find a job in high school.
Yeah.
And some of the older kids, there are various private schools and charter schools we'll talk about later that will take some of these kids. But overall, these kids are just out in the cold, just cutting up, nothing to do.
Nothing to do. And so Northside Christian Academy will at least, and again, that's a K through 8 school, right? K through 8.
Correct.
You can basically grab these kids and correct them, but you also have kids that are super smart and those kids who just want a different environment. Talk to me about small classroom sizes and the parents that bring their kids in for a different kind of experience.
Right. We find that a lot of children don't learn well in a large environment. They feel overwhelmed. They might be shy and can't live up to their full potential. However, Northside Christian School, we have school is academy now, but we have low class sizes. And for instance, we offer a variety of electives such as French, robotics, Spanish, religions of the world, things of that nature. So we're a traditional school in the fact that we do testing, and we believe the kids will have homework. A lot of parents say, well, our kids shouldn't have homework since they go to school all day. But we don't believe in that principle. But we've tried to develop the child completely. So we look at developing the child emotionally, socially, physically, as well as mentally and academically. So we know that the child be prepared to go into 9th grade. In middle school, especially grades 6 through 8, are very, very important. And that's when a child really develops his character, his personality. You can probably tell about the work ethic at that age if they are ambitious and want to do something with their lives. So we give them opportunities to do community service as well as little small jobs.
I like that.
At the school. And we're talking about developing a leadership component, continuing it, I guess, in the next coming year or so, because we know we need leaders here in the city, young men and women. Followers usually get left behind and do something they don't need to do. So we have good, strong leaders with good moral character, good ambition, good vision. I think our city would be a better place.
And I think you're right. I think you have to train people to lead. I think there are followers and there are leaders, but they're all leaders in their own. Even when you're following, you can be a leader. I want to make that distinction. I do believe that some of the way we educate our kids in today's society has changed. You know, I believe highly, and Phillip, you know me well, I believe in conflict resolution, teaching that early. And, instead of grabbing a gun, you need to do something else when you're feeling up against the wall. Like kids back in the day didn't do that. They may fight after school at 3 o'clock, but the next day they're best buddies. You don't go home and get a gun and kill somebody. And so
that is true.
Yeah, conflict resolution.
I meant to add that too. We do have a mental health component where we teach conflict resolution, anger management, also, and social skills at the school. Because if you don't know how to solve conflict, you'll never win. I heard one guy say on TV, he's a famous star. He has a radio show now. He said 10 seconds of foolishness got him 20 years in jail.
Wow.
So you got to be very careful what you do. A split-second decision can change your life. We don't need to bring up the Brandon Miller cases and all that stuff going on. But you really have to be very careful about your surroundings and what decisions you make. You live to, like they say, you can live to see another day. Shooting someone doesn't solve the problem. You got to be able to talk it out. And if you can't control your anger, we have ways of helping you control your anger. And, there's different methods. And if worse comes to worse, we can always, I'm a clinical therapist. I don't know if people know that. But if we feel like we can't do the job here, we will always refer you out. And there's several minority agencies that are very good here in the city that we partner with that will get the job done and make sure your child is on the right path. A lot of times, especially kids, African-American kids and families, they look bad. They look at mental health as something to be kind of ashamed of. And I think that stigma is changing.
I do. I think the stigma is changing. I think it is changing.
Especially with our actors and celebrities.
Right.
So if we can get it right early, especially the important years to me age 10 to 12. Honestly, after age 12 and 13, if the kid hasn't started behaving, you can already see the pattern of malfeasance.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a problem with them. So one of our main goals is to make sure the kid involve the family and the environment, any other people they have. Mm-hmm. We also have what we call not necessarily a conference, but at the beginning of the school years, kind of like call a family team meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We will invite the family, any important people in their children's lives. It could be a coach, it could be a pastor, kind of see what their goals and strengths and weaknesses are.
I like that.
So that's very important. We can do that being a smaller school. You think that might take a long time, but it doesn't, and it's beneficial in the long run.
And in the long run, because in the long run you end up having an adult with a lot of problems and teenagers with a lot of problems. That K through 8 and that K through 3rd and all of that is really important because, again, like you said, Phillip, kids don't really know how to manage what is going on at that age, especially if they're coming from homes or places where they see this in the home or they see it on TV or they see it in a video game. They don't, video games are impactful, folks. I don't care what you say. Music is impactful. I don't care what you say. All of that, if you don't know how to manage what that is, then you might end up emulating what that is outwardly. And so, again, I'm Shelia Smoot. Welcome into the Shelia Smoot Show. We are talking to Phillip Turner, who is our guest. He is going to be talking about Northside Christian Academy, and also we're going to roll into that in a few minutes in regard to where that leads when your kid has to have some time off in the summer or a winter break or whatever it is to keep that continuous learning going on. Again, I also believe in, again, I was telling you, leadership and military school. You know what? It's something, Phillip, about sending somebody that you know in your mind or in my mind. I'm like, okay, this guy is just out of control. This person's out of control. They need to go to the military. They come back in 10 weeks. What happens? They're a changed person. It's something about the military that I truly adore. I know that Birmingham has a really good program, a junior ROTC program, and I totally believe that part of military equals leadership, equals conflict resolution, all of those type of skill sets that mold the person to be all they can be in the military. We might need to institute some of that kind of training into our early childhood education schools and certainly in our middle schools to teach how to endure what is going on in today's society with these kids. So Northside Christian Academy, who do you take? How does it work? And what's the difference between a Christian school, a private school, a charter school, a public school? What is going on here?
Well, fortunately, we have in Birmingham and the state of Alabama the ability to have school choice. And what that is, a child can pretty much go to any school that he wants to, relatively easy than they had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
About 5 to 10 years ago, there was a thing called the Alabama Opportunity Scholarship Fund.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know this was started by Governor Riley.
Mm-hmm.
It actually was a model from Florida. They've been doing this for years, where a child, if they could not afford to go to a public school, they could get a scholarship fund based on the same, I think, premises and guidelines as food stamps and that type of thing, how many people in the household, income of that nature. But what has happened now, most of those funds are gone here in the state of Alabama.
Okay.
So now people might realize in the past couple of years, you've had some charter schools pop up. And you heard for years that Alabama will never have any charter schools, but that's not the case. Some here locally, you have Legacy, and charter schools can be based on a certain theme or idea. Mm-hmm. For instance, you have investment. You have the Air and Aviation Academy, which is a charter school.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
You have Magic City Acceptance Academy, which is in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to tell the people the difference between a charter school and a private school. A lot of people might not know this. Charter school is actually a public school, okay? Mm-hmm. They receive public funding. They cannot charge tuition. You cannot have certain admission criteria. So, for instance, some private schools might say you have to score this score to get into our school. But a charter school does not have that because they're receiving public funds like a public school.
Right.
As a public school, you might take a test, but it's not to be admitted or not admitted. It's just for placement. So you can kind of see a charter school does not have a test as far as children getting in. Now, this is something that's interesting. Now, if you have a private school in place, Alabama states you can't move a private school to a charter school or a charter school to a private school based on that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you asked about what a religious school is. Religious school is basically is a school that has certain beliefs. Now, Northside Christian Academy is a non-denominational school.
Okay.
What makes the school so great? We have all types of religion at the school. Now, Christianity, we have Islam. Now, we're not trying to proselytize to your kids, trying to make them be Islamic.
But anybody
or
can
Christian,
come,
whatever,
no matter what their religion is. What you're saying, that doesn't keep you out.
Right.
Okay,
And we have, even in our faculty, we have a diverse faculty with very religious backgrounds. But one thing we do have chapel every week.
Mm-hmm.
We invite certain speakers in of all types of, might be Baptist, Methodist, Catholic, so kids can get a well-rounded view of religion and, make their own decisions, that type of thing.
Right.
So as far as Northside Christian Academy, we believe it's founded on Christianity, and we do have certain rules, of course. We have a dress code there. We lead the kids to dress professionally. No, they don't have to wear ties and stuff every day. But nowadays, I know business places are a lot more casual, and they don't believe in ties and all that stuff. But our kids do have blazers. Young ladies have
I like
shirts
it.
and
I think it
sweaters,
works. Mm-hmm.
especially in the winter now. In the Alabama heat in April and May, no, we're not going to make the child wear a blazer and a tie and all that kind of stuff, because that would be inhumane.
Right.
They'd be calling Smoot on your side for that. They'd be calling you on us.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to go another way on
that. I have no problems as it is. But as a speaker, Northside Christian Academy is taking admissions right now.
Uh-huh.
And like I mentioned earlier, we really don't you really don't have to have a test, even though we are a private Christian school. We're not a charter school, so I'm going to put that out there. And we truly believe if your child is having problems in larger schools, even academically, we are a Title IX school, Title I school. Well, not Title IX, Title I school. Well, Birmingham City schools will actually have tutors to come in and tutor the kids that are deficient in English and math. We're very fortunate to have that. We're one of 14 private schools in the city that have a distinction to work with Birmingham City schools to have the Title I. So if people didn't know, Title I they is a program that Birmingham City Schools has that provide extra, computers. Mm-hmm. Private schools and public schools get extra computers, extra help, teachers, any kind of professional development that schools need to do their best job. So we're very fortunate in that. That goes on to another point. We also have that in the summer. Mm-hmm. So Title I also provides summer enrichment for our summer enrichment program as well. But if your child is having any type of problem, and also we also call our kids scholars. We don't necessarily say students at Northside Christian Academy, because scholars, it means you're academically oriented, mm-hmm. and you have a goal. So we call our kids scholars, and I think that gives them some encouragement and high self-esteem as well. Now, I also forgot to mention this, too. I know we're doing a lot in a short period of time. We mentioned about the conflict resolution.
Right, go ahead. Yes, definitely. I do believe in that. Anger management, conflict resolution, all of that needs to be in schools these days because, with the social media things that I didn't grow up with, the social media, and I grew up with some mean girls, though. Don't get me wrong. It was some drama up in Flint, Michigan. Let me be clear. I handled it, but I turned into one of those, befriend the bully and help them with their homework. I must have had an army of bullies. Oh, yeah, because I'm going to make sure, because if you're smart enough to come over here and get in my face about something, you're smart enough to learn something, put a book in your face. That's what I would always say. I say, why don't you put a book in your face instead of getting in somebody's face? They were like, okay, right. She's a nerd. Let her slide. I can help you with your homework.
We have had some bullies. We've had some bullies that totally changed there at Northside Christian. A lot of times because kids might be bullies because they have low self-esteem and they're depressed.
Right.
They don't know how to express their emotions or opinions, or they cannot do their work, so they use bullying as a tactic to divert the fact that they're academically deficient. So we have at Northside Christian Academy mentors as well as, like I said, a Title I tutors to help the kids. And like I said, we're taking applications now. Now we're going to move it to the summer. We have a program that's been tied with the school called Fresh Start Family Solutions Academic Enrichment Program. And you say, why in the world do I want to send my kid to a summer enrichment camp?
You
First
definitely
of all,
want
it's
to
not
do
all
that.
academics.
It's not all
It's not
academics.
all
It's a
academics.
lot going on. So,
And what happens, and especially with COVID, the kids develop something called a summer slide, and people might not know what that is. Another word for that is brain drain. It's a phenomenon that happens when kids are not in school, and this has happened even worse now with COVID. A lot of kids are a year to a year and a half behind in school because we went to virtual learning and we weren't quite prepared for it. But in the summer, when kids don't do any type of academic activity, they go behind 3 to 6 months as far as their test scores and what grade level they should be. And at Fresh Start Academy, we'd have field trips. We go all over. We've been to Six Flags, 4 Point Mallard. We do these type of things. And let me say this, and I meant to say this earlier about Northside Christian Academy. We never turn away a kid based on the fact of their parents' ability to pay. We'll get a sponsor. We'll work with you.
That's great.
Now,
that is
and
great.
because academics shouldn't cost, that should be a
No,
privilege.
it should
for
be
any-
a
that
it should
free
be
for
a
anybody.
right. It is your right. Let me
It's a
segue
right.
to that, Phillips. We only got a couple of more minutes to go. Fresh
Okay.
Start Academy, folks, is derived from Northside Christian School, and again, school choice also includes, I guess, homeschooling. Let me throw that in. It also includes homeschooling.
Right.
That you can do that. But Fresh Start Academy is derived from Northside Christian. So what you do with your school, you go right into a summer learning enrichment program. And what is the cost to get into Northside Christian Academy? And again, Phillip, we certainly thank you for your time this morning about telling us why it's important that we get a handle on these kids K through 8. We got to get a handle on them. Now, don't give up on them if you don't get a handle before 12 and 13, but now is the time. So how do we get into Northside Christian and Fresh Start Academy?
Okay, the way to get into Northside Christian Academy, you can email me at freshstartbham, that's freshstartbham, at yahoo.com, and you mentioned the cost. Cost is $250 to $350 a month, based on what grade level your child is in. And also for Fresh Start this summer, we're going to take about the first 7 people. We always do a tax special. They will get in no tuition for the summer, just a trip and
First 7
transportation
folks?
fee.
Wow.
That's $50. That's it, and that covers. We have to rent buses. We don't own our own buses, so we have to use STS buses. So that costs. And my phone number, I'll give it out. It's 205-910-2781. 205-910-2781. And if you can't get this, you can hit Shelia Smoot, and she can give you my information. But we're looking forward to it. This will be our 19th year for summer camp, and it's our 49th year for Northside Christian Academy. So we've been around. Excellent endures every time is my method. So excellence endures every time. So we do an excellent program, you should be able to survive in this world.
All right, Phillip Turner with Northside Christian Academy, taking on the legacy of Miss Susie Crum from Hooper City and all of that. And we are just so excited that you're continuing this 49-year legacy. I know you'll be joining us at 50 years. And folks, again, you will get the information and get in touch with them. And Fresh Start Academy, I can't thank you enough for continuing. You were a young person and you knew Miss Crum. I knew Miss Crum. I'm just so excited that her legacy, Phillip, is being carried on by you and the staff at Northside. We thank you very much for joining us today. Okay? You have a good one.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. I'm Shelia Smoot with your Consumer Tip of the Week. Looking for your tax refund? You can find it. Go to Where's My Refund? You can get information on your tax returns for the last 3 years. Now, there is also a phone app called IRS To Go. IRS To Go. It takes about 24 hours for the information to be online once you file as well. Now, it takes up to 4 weeks to get your IRS status if you file a paper return. Now, you can get all of this all through the year if you want to just find out what's going on with any refund now or in the past. And for more information, all you have to do is go to irs.gov. That's irs.gov. Live debt free. Here are 4 steps to keep you in control. Number 1, prepare for the worst case scenario. Come up with a plan to live on less. You never know when you might lose your job or end up with unexpected bills. Number 2,
Keep an emergency fund. You need at least 6 months worth of expenses in an emergency fund. You can do that. Start saving now. Step number 3, lower your credit card rates now. First, ask your credit card company for a better deal, which can work if you have a good credit record. And step number 4, to keep you in control, pay off your mortgage before retiring. Most people aren't in a rush to pay off their mortgage if they have a low fixed rate and can earn more by investing elsewhere. But if you plan to retire soon, repaying that debt can give you a lot more flexibility, especially if your investments are down and your other expenses have increased, which is happening to many retirees this year. I'm Shelia Smoot with your Consumer Tip of the Week.
And I'm Shelia Smoot. Remember, this is the Shelia Smoot Show. Don't be a sucker, be a consumer. We'll see you next week.